money on my mind, 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 money on my mind. So money is all I think of. Money on my mind, money on my mind, money on my mind, money on my mind, money on my mind.
All right, money is definitely on my mind today, and we got a very special episode, but I got to always start right. You guys know who you're listening to. It's your favorite blind advisor, Boogity Blindy himself, and this is Financial State of Minds, where in this case, we help you get to the bag, manage that bag, and grow that bag as best as possible by talking financial literacy and all things moolah, cheddar, cheese, cream. And this time I have a very, very, very special guest. We've talked online many times. He's invited me on his show, but it's about time that I brought him on to my show because apparently he just likes me too much, because there's no reason why he shouldn't be on this show. I'm not on nowhere his league, but I'm so grateful. I got my boy Cat is in the building.
Hey, what's happening?
We're just gonna jump right into it.
Man, we about to get to this money. We about to get to this bag, Darrin.
Absolutely. Today on Financial State of Minds, you are gracious enough to be on episode, I think I've lost count, 17, something like that. I think 17.
Come on,
so,
you knocking them out.
And you're my second guest, the second of the from your show. So just tell me about yourself real quick. Tell the audience about yourself. Who are you?
Who's Cat?
Who's Cat?
Well, man, Cat is, like we were talking before the show, I'm a man of many hats. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a motivational speaker. I have my own brands, which is Cat Fitness Wellness Center. I also have a couple other brands, which is Rejuvenate, which is our all-natural line of herbs and products that we use to heal our clients in the fitness industry. We also have our Heal the Hood brand, which is our nonprofit, which we go back into the community and provide not only food, but we also provide resources when it comes to education. So we educate the community on mind, body, spirit, and exactly what you talk about is financial literacy, because a lot of people that come from inner city communities, we don't get that level of education when it comes to financial literacy, and that's what's going to get us to the next level. So those are just like a couple things that I do and who I am in this moment, you know what I'm saying? So just to give your viewers an overview.
So like me, you are a multifaceted entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
Also,
it's levels to this, man.
Yeah, like our skin color. Levels. White skin today. Chris Brown, where you at? CB, where you at? I'm in that mood today. I'm just messing with you guys. But one thing that you mentioned kind of briefly, but then I really read it when I read your bio. You're a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And that's actually, if you ask me, Darrin, if you had $10 million, you ain't got to do anything, what would you be doing? I'd be doing exactly that. So motivational speaker. So talk a little bit more about that. You're a motivational speaker. Like, who do you talk to? What do you talk about? Who have you talked with? Where have you talked about? Get a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Some of the places that I've spoken at Google, I've spoken at Facebook, I've spoken at local community churches, different events throughout the Bay Area. I am heavily involved with some of the plant-based vegan community out here in the Bay Area. So I've spoken throughout the Bay Area at different events out here, and also have spoken in LA at some vegan events out there as well. Just talking about the health and wellness in our community. A lot of times we've been programmed to think that a lot of these things that are going on in our community when it comes to our health issues, when it comes to high blood pressure, obesity, heart disease, cancer, heart attacks, we're like, oh, well, a lot of times we're programmed to think that's normal.
Yeah.
Right? And I actually, when I was going through my health issues 8 years ago, I thought I was, it was normal. It was people in my family, my parents, my cousins, we see it throughout the family. We see it throughout the community. So it gets normalized. It's like, okay, this is just another stage in my life that I have to go through, until I kind of rewrote what the narrative of my life was going to be and continue to be as I move forward. As I started to educate myself on these particular topics and understanding that a lot of it has to come through the lack of nutrition, poor nutrition that we have in our community, and the lack of exercise and just, self-care.
Yeah.
Over time, all that stress and everything that we build upon on our daily life adds up, and a lot of that stuff creates these diseases within us.
Yes.
So once I learned that aspect of it, I'm like, wow, well, if I can eliminate a lot of these things that cause these diseases within me, then I have more power than what I've been told. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where the power comes. We're all empowered to control our daily reality, our daily narrative. It's us understanding that we have the power.
Right.
Just like you teach financial literacy, like sometimes we're programmed to think that we're supposed to be a worker,
Yes.
right? We're supposed to be 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be, working these things where they set a value on what our time looks like when we can create our own value for ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that leads me right into really what me and you offline have talked about, probably more than anything else, when we're talking specifically business, finance, or whatever, is marketing.
Yeah.
And one thing that, and this is honestly the main reason I wanted to bring you on, and the purpose I will continue to bring on entrepreneurs, is I want people to see that people like us, especially that like us who look like us, there are other paths to doing what you are passionate about beyond, let's just keep it real, entertainment.
Exactly.
So tell me.
We can't put ourselves in a box.
Absolutely. So tell me, perfect analogy. How did you get yourself out of the box of a 9 to 5 into something where not only you get to do what you love to do, what you're passionate about, but you're able to sustain a living off of it? Tell me just a little bit about how you were able to start that, do that. You're doing it. How did you do that?
How did it start?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. Just starting from the beginning is like my journey started off with a health scare, like I said, around 8 years ago now. And within that health scare, I had to slow down and start investing into myself. I was working in corporate America in marketing and sales for like 10 years, working for companies like some companies that you're probably familiar with, DirecTV, Comcast, AT&T, just to name a few, working with their direct sales marketing team. And not only just working, but managing and supervising teams and making sure that they made millions of dollars consistently and helping to open up different locations and stuff like that. During that time, was I capable of doing the work? Yeah, I was good. I made money and everything. But the thing that I didn't do was take care of myself. I worked long hours. I made sure that we met quotas during that time. Sometimes, no, not sometimes, but it can be a stressful environment, right? So the way that I was decompressing, like when I would be stressed, we would go drink. We'd go to happy hour and do all these things where over the years I started to gain all this weight, right? I actually got 80 pounds overweight. And during that time, it was some of the darkest times when, in the sense that every time I was dealing with a stressful environment, I would reach out and get some alcohol to kind of decompress, right? And since I had such a high tolerance for it, I didn't think it was an issue, right? Until one day, the check engine light came on. The body said, hey, we don't want this anymore. It's time for a change. And when that happened, I actually got rushed to the emergency room. They actually thought I had all the symptoms of having a heart attack at that time. So I woke up in the middle of the night, shortness of breath. My chest felt like it was caving in. I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh my God. At first, I thought I fell asleep on the remote or something. I was like, dang, what did I sleep on? So I got up in the middle of the night, tried to walk it off. During that process, it was like, no, this is getting worse. I barely could breathe. I felt like I was going to pass out. My chest was caving in, and I had to wake up my wife to the point where it was like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I need some help, right? I think you should call the ambulance. And her knowing me, never wanting to go to the hospital, never wanting to do any kind of checkups or physicals like that, she was like, okay, something must be going on if he wants the ambulance to come get him right now. So that process happened. Luckily, it wasn't a heart attack, right? But it woke me up. It made me kind of like COVID, right? It made me like more aware of what was going on internally inside of myself. And when I took the time to say, hey, okay, what is my purpose here? I have a family. I have 4 wonderful sons. I have a wife. I have so much to live for. If I don't take care of my health now, when am I going to do it? It's not going to get easier as I get older. I need to address these things now. Right. So what I did was I come from a strength and conditioning background from sports. I played football growing up, playing soccer, all these things. So I knew what to do. I just wasn't implementing it at that time in my life. I've actually, prior to going into corporate America, I did help people, in strength and conditioning. So I told myself, hey, let me put myself on a program and commit to it. And I told myself in 6 months, I was going to lose 70 pounds, right? Exactly. That was my goal. It was January. Just like everybody else that sets that New Year's resolution, I was like, okay, January, I'm going to start on my weight loss journey and I'm going to stick with it. And I had to really break down all the components that was slowing me down, right? I had to kind of make a mental list of like, how did I get to this point? And what are the things that I'm in control of that I can take away? So obviously I said alcohol was one of the things. Right. I noticed that when I'm stressed, I normally drink. When I normally drink, I normally eat high fatty foods, fast food, junk food, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, if I eliminate the alcohol, that's going to help me eliminate a lot of the junk food that I crave after I drink. So let me focus on that. So for 6 months, I detoxed the body. I didn't incorporate any alcohol. I drank a lot of water, no fast food, all home cooked food, baked, no fried foods, just the things that I knew at that time that were best for me, right? Especially in our community, for whatever reason, we know the 2 things when it comes to our diet that we should probably cut out that are not too healthy, that probably a lot of the viewers already know, is probably like pork and beef, right? Those were the things that I was like, okay, let me not eat as much pork, let me not eat as much beef, let me cut those things out, let me make sure have steamed vegetables, the whole 9. At that point, just detox, cleaned myself up. That got me to the point where once I got the 70 pounds off, I was like, man, I feel like a whole brand new person, right? It was like my mental clarity, my energy. It was like I was reborn, right? Like I got a second chance at life. And during that process, during that 6 months, I had to really look within myself and was like, man, I'm cool where I'm at in corporate America, but I'm not truly happy. Right. What does happiness look like to me? And being a former athlete, that world of athletics always spoke to me. And once I couldn't take it any further in junior college after I got hurt, it was a sudden stop, not playing sports anymore, and then transitioning into corporate America, 9-to-5 kind of jobs and stuff like that. So I was like, what if I can financially take care of myself doing something that I'm passionate about? What if I could train people and get back into the fitness world where it doesn't feel like work anymore? It's something that I enjoy. What would that look like, right? So what I did was I started to kind of break down my overhead. Like, what do my bills look like, right? What the bills that I really have to take care of. The car note, the rent, all these things, the insurance, cell phone bills, cable, all these things. What is my overhead right now? Okay, this is my bottom line. I have to be able to make this, right, to be able to transition to my own business. So once I had that number, I was like, what does that look like per client? Right. How many clients do I need? What is that number? Right. So once I started kind of playing with the numbers and realistically looking at it, I was still in corporate America, but I was slowly transitioning, letting a few people I know, letting them know that I was getting back into training if they were interested in, strength training, weight loss, hey, these are the days that I'm available. And what started to happen was I started to build momentum.
Yes.
Right. Building that momentum, I was like, dang. Within probably like 3 months of putting myself out there after I made my own transition, I was like, man, if I had more time, I'd be able to help more clients. I just don't have the time because I'm working in corporate America, right? And by the, I always say this, by the grace of like God and alignment and the universe, like just putting that energy out there, things started to open up and the time became available to me, right? In the sense of I got like around 6 weeks off of work, right? And instead of just like sitting around and just like messing around for 6 weeks, I actually invested that time back into my business, right? And going from a handful of clients, now I'm booked every day with clients. And now I'm at a fork in the road. I'm looking at like, okay, I had 6 weeks off of work. I can either go back and cut back on my clients or continue this momentum and continue to build my brand, my business, and bet on myself and let go of it, let go of corporate America, the security that they tell you. Our parents and our grandparents some of us were programmed to think that security was in that corporate job that had the benefits and had the, what's that called when you retire? The retirement planning, pension and all that kind of stuff. Yep. Yeah, so I was like, I can do that or I could bet on myself. And I was like, I told my wife, it was at a point where too many things were going in my favor that I told her I had to bet on myself. I could always go back.
Right.
I could always go back. I could always get a job. The job is not the hard part. I was like, let me bet on myself. So I looked into what I wanted to name the brand and everything. I went and got my LLC. I got my EIN. I did all the things, got my bank account and everything set up, and then I started investing into my business, right? And at that point, I was like, okay, what did I learn in corporate America that I could take over into my own personal business, right? And as you already know, every business relies on marketing and sales.
Absolutely.
Right? That is the bread and butter. Like that keeps all these multi-million, billion-dollar businesses going at the end of the day is their marketing and sales.
So let me harp on that. Marketing, sales, right there. So a lot of people, when they are thinking about going out on their own, they're thinking about how do I get clients?
Yeah.
Now, in 2022, and really we can just take the last decade too, but really in 2022, social media has become the primary first basically platform or lane or to advertise, brand, and market yourself.
Yeah.
You're a beast on social media right now. You have what, about 45K following on Instagram alone?
50.
50K? I'm sorry.
You're going to give me my respect today.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm over here just starting with 500. This man got literally hundreds of times more than me. So excuse me over here, Big Baller. But in all seriousness, because I get this question a lot. I just want you, how did you build a following and take advantage of social media? And maybe answer the question, how do I start? How do I start? How do you build? How do you keep going when it comes to social media?
Just like anything else in life, you have to be consistent. You have to stay relevant. If you think about all the big multi-million, multi-billion-dollar companies, you see them all the time, right? And that's one thing that I learned while I was there. Like with their branding, you know what I'm saying? You're going to constantly see their branding, whether it's on TV, radio, social media platforms, you're going to see some form of their branding, right? And I knew that social media was absolutely free. So why don't I take advantage of putting my brand up as much as possible and letting people know exactly what I do? And when I first started, I started with 0 followers. Right? 0 followers on my social media platform. Initially, people that already knew me started to follow me. So, you know, family, friends, right, people I went to school with, stuff like that, coworkers started to follow me. And then just consistently putting not only my brand out there, but what I specialize in, right? I think a lot of times people get away from what they're like. Your brand is all about financial literacy, right? So when you go onto your social media platform, that's what you get is financial literacy through and through. And it's beautiful to see. And when I first started, it was like, okay, I'm letting everybody know I'm a trainer and we're going to do one or two things. You're going to get stronger or you're going to lose weight, right? And as I started to do that with my clients, I would show my clients transformations. That's how it initially started on my page, was transformation, showing people when they initially started and after spending either 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it took, their transformation within that time. And then people was like, oh, shoot, okay, I see the results.
Right.
I see the results. Just like, for example, working at Comcast, right? What is Comcast known for with their branding? What would you say, just from what you know about Xfinity and Comcast, what is their branding? What is their go-to?
It's internet and cable.
Foremost, the internet, high speed. We have the fastest cable out there.
Yep.
All that, right? Once they have their branding, and this is what I noticed, like even working in corporate America, a lot of times, even when I was there when they're making their transition from Comcast over to Xfinity, right? And a lot of their products, still had bugs. It wasn't, 100%. It was like, as the marketing and sales team, we would be like, hey, but why are we launching these products? Why are we launching these services? And some of them aren't even ready to go to be put on the marketplace. But what you learn when you're working for these large corporations, it's never going to be ready, because they don't know what the system is going to look like until it has that capacity, until they have 100,000 people using the service and stuff like that. One of the big takeaways that I had to learn is, like, I trained small groups before, but what does it look like to train a class of like 40, 50 people?
Right.
I don't know until I actually do it. So constantly putting out there, building my classes and everything, building my brand, I was like, okay, let me take myself to that next level. Right. Even though I wasn't necessarily experienced in training the larger classes, I had to learn on the go. And a lot of times I think what people do is they hesitate. Right. They're like, I have to be ready. No, a lot of things you're going to learn while you're doing it. Right. While you're experiencing it.
Right. A lot of people go, it has to be perfect, or the way I think it needs to be perfect before they even start.
Exactly. And a lot of times that's what's holding you back, because it's never going to be perfect. It's never, you're going to find things as you go through the process and be able to weed those things out and fine tune them as you go, as you learn, but just get started. So with the social media platform, I knew it was a great way of marketing. I knew what I wanted to show the world through my social media platform, but I just had to get started and I had to be consistent. I had to stay in front of the people, right? My platform really didn't go into the next level until within this last year. Like I was around it got all the way because of all the speaking events and all the things that I do. I got around 9,000 followers probably in 5 years. Right.
Oh, so say that again. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Let's be specific. When did you start on your platforms, and then when did you get to the point where you had 9,000?
Yeah, so over a 5 or 6 year period, I got up to 9,000, right? And it kind of plateaued. And I'm like, dang, okay. I was like, everything was working, but things change, algorithms change, all different kinds of things started to change. So I was looking at what was going on social media, right? I had to take a second because I knew this was one of my tools. And it's like, what is going on social media? What are people gravitating towards? What are they listening to? What are getting the reels and the views and all that kind of stuff? And I was like, oh, I started noticing a trend. And depending on which niche or market you're in, start looking at the people that are doing it on a high level, because they're doing it for a reason. The things that they're putting on social media aren't by chance. They know what's getting the algorithm to put them in front of larger audiences and everything like that. So I started to see a trend in the health and wellness space, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, let me switch it up, because just like my job, if it doesn't work for me, I can always go back, right? I can always go back to what I do. But I started to see a trend with how currently, like with reels and stuff like that, with the side-by-side reactions of how people are reacting to certain videos. And we could think it's kind of silly, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is weird. In my own personal eyes, I was like, this is weird. Why are people gravitating to it? But they are, and they're getting the information. So I was like, okay, let me continue to stay within my niche, which is health and wellness, and do these side-by-side reaction videos. And then all of a sudden, I saw my numbers going up. And I was like, wow, okay, there's something here to this, right? And I was like, okay. And the audience and the followers, because it still stayed within what I do in the community, which is holistic health, mind, body, spirit. Everything that I focus on with my clients right now is complete holistic health, right? Because even my business over the years had to grow, because I started off at just strength and conditioning, but then as I was dealing with more and more clients, I understood that it was more lifestyle, right? It was more having to deal with mental health, people that are dealing with certain issues, maybe certain trauma that they haven't talked about or fully expressed from their childhood, from whenever. And that was some of the things that were holding them back from allowing them to grow and fully blossom. What I started to do, I would get clients in or strength and conditioning and weight loss, but then we would have deeper conversations as a group, as a class, about things that people wanted to change internally, right? And I saw the growth in that. I was like, wow, this is real powerful. So like I said, the page is all about holistic health. So everything that I post is around that. And then now I'm seeing my views go from the hundreds to the thousands to the hundreds of thousands. Now some of the posts have even gotten into the millions, right? And I was like, wow, just that small adjustment within my business strategy has put my platform in front of now hundreds of thousands to potentially millions of people on a monthly basis, right? So that has been just little things that I've had to adjust. I think sometimes from a business standpoint, we can kind of get stuck in our ways and we're not making the proper adjustments that we need to stay with the times.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're like, oh, well, this worked. Why is it not working anymore? Well, things change, right? People's interests change. We have to make slight adjustments to make sure that we're still staying relevant, especially when it comes to these social media platforms, to allow ourselves to have the largest footprint in that realm as well.
Absolutely great. I mean, you're absolutely right. This is what I say about marketing. And before I say it, I just want to remind you guys, you're rocking with Blickety Binding himself, Darrin Harvey, Financial State of Minds, KGPC 96.9 FN. You are tapped in with Cat right over here spinning his game and is giving you guys his story and his journey on his success, man. And we're just gonna go right into it. I don't want to waste any of our time. And the thing that I really wanted, and you did a great job explaining, is everyone's all about social media, and everyone's always about, okay, social media, I can get followers and I can get all these views, and it's gonna happen like quick, quick to people sometimes is even just 1 year. It's quick. And what I loved about your explanation is this didn't happen overnight.
No.
Like, this is not no overnight success. Like, we all hear the stories of, oh, like this one person just went viral and all of a sudden he's known. And that's, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I mean, to say it's a one-off, it's an understatement. It's like 1 in a million accounts happen like
that. You got to think about a lot of the big celebrities, right? Like, let's throw out somebody that's real popular right now, like a Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Right? He was doing comedy for years before he got his breaks, right? And once he got to a certain level, now he's in everything. Now you see him everywhere. Now it's like, oh, it might have looked like initially that he was an overnight success and he blew up, but he was practicing his craft and his art for probably, I think, like 5 to 7 years prior to being exposed to everything that he has now. And now, with his branding and everything, from his clothing brand, his comedy, his movies, it's all in the same realm of what his brand represents, but it's just different layers of it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like over time, as you build your brand, you'll see different opportunities. Like just from my own personal business, once I started doing more community work and speaking at other people's events, once COVID happened, a lot of events that I spoke at shut down. Right. You know, they got all canceled due to COVID. And it really spoke to my heart, was like, hey, this is more than ever. We need this information in our community, especially with all the people that are uneducated when it comes to like nutrition, health, and everything like that. It was like, how do we continue this? And that's how we created Heal the Hood, right? Because that was just another leg of the octopus that it was like, okay, this goes directly with what our mission is to help out the community. But I want to also say, when you're building your brand, right, remember that the best way to market, and even though I use social media, the best way that I've gotten my brand to grow was word of mouth, right? Asking for that referral, right? My clients, once they went through the program and did their transformation, it was like getting their family and friends to come in, right, and go through the program and get the results that they were looking for. And always know that whatever customer service experience that you give your clients is what they're going to tell their family and friends.
Absolutely.
So if you give them a poor customer service experience, no matter how good you are, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of great trainers, but sometimes I hear a common thing, right? It's like, well, the customer service. I didn't like their customer service. And when you're dealing with clients, you can have like the best food, the best restaurant, but if your customer service is not on point, that starts to spread throughout the community. And no matter how good the stuff is, people will probably walk past your place and go to the next place just because the other person has better customer service as well.
Absolutely. The way I think about it in business is marketing brings the clients or the customers in, but at the end of the day, your service or product and it's going to keep them. And especially, I want to say in 2022, in this climate, it's the service. Yeah. It's how you treat the client because of what you just said. There's 101 fitness trainers. Yeah. There's 101 people who serve vegan products or vegan services or that vegan lifestyle. There's 101. Why should people pick you, and why should people continue to pick you?
Yeah. And like I said a little bit earlier, is making sure that you clearly identify your niche, what you specialize within that realm, whatever. Like promoting your restaurant, right? For example, well, what do you specialize in? Are you a soul food restaurant? Are you what? Right. What is your go-to? And then highlight that. And then once you get the people to come in, making sure that that customer service and everything is immaculate, because once they have that experience, I've had people drive. Currently, I'm located in Hercules, California, right? I have people drive from San Francisco all the way to Hercules just to be trained by me, right? I've had clients drive from Stockton just to be trained by me, right? And I accredit that to my customer service. How many gyms do they have to drive past to get to me when they probably have somebody local in their community that train, right? But knowing exactly they're going to get the results when they come to see me, plus they're going to get amazing customer service and a great experience with me, keeps those people continuing to come and continuing to tell their family and friends and the whole nine. So one thing that, especially when you're starting off your business, obviously, if you don't have a budget, perfect. You don't have to have a budget to get started on marketing, right? You can have a zero budget. I started off with $0 for budgeting with my brand. But what I did take away from corporate America was being able to get into people's face, right? Even if you're just going into your local community and letting people know, like just knocking on doors. Like when I first started in marketing and sales, it was B2B. It was business to business. Yeah, business to business. We were knocking on doors. It was guerrilla marketing. We were getting out there, getting doors slammed in our face and stuff like that. But the great thing about that is we used to have something called, we called it the law of averages, right?
That's still a thing?
Yeah. Law of averages. You see how many people, like if I speak to 50 people, right? A lot of those people can be like just people that are asking questions, you know what I'm saying? They're not necessarily ready to sign up or get a membership or work out or anything. They just have questions about working out. And that's perfectly cool because you want to educate and inform the community, right? And then we call those like the shoppers.
Right.
The people that are just shopping, they're just shopping around.
Right.
You know, they're looking for the best deal and stuff like that. And that's cool. You're going to come across those people, and you're going to come across the people that are like the hard nose, right? The people like, no, they don't care what you got going on. They're not interested, whatever the case may be. You got the maybe people. They're like, oh, maybe if, my finances are right or at a later time, whatever the case may be. And then you're going to have your yeses, right? So if I speak to, say, 50 people, right? I know out of that 50 people that I talk to, guess what? Probably like 2 to 5 out of those 50 people are going to be actual clients.
Correct. Yeah. In sales, it's the 10% rule.
Yeah.
That's your goal. If you talk to 100 people, your hope and goal is that you nailed it. Like 7 to 10 of them will
exactly
be your clients. And that's the goal. And what you were talking about, you really simplified it, but you were talking about a marketing funnel.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who are essentially the passer buyers. There's going to be the people who are interested, but they're not ready.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be the people who are more interested, but they need a little bit more convincing.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be the people who are going to be yes.
Exactly. The ones that are ready to sign up. Oh, I've been looking for a trainer. I didn't know where to go and all that. And that's cool. But you've just interacted. You just put your business in front of 50 people that may have never knew who you were.
Absolutely.
Right? So.
And then I want you to speak on that. I just want to stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even as business owners, whether you're starting or you're in the thick of it, you just told 50 people that you basically exist.
Exactly.
I think people undervalue that.
Yeah.
They undervalue that. And tying that back to social media, you may have thousands and thousands of followers, but not all of them are going to end up being your clients or even buy anything from you. But it's the fact that they know that you exist. You're a brand.
But you know what's funny about that too? I just want to throw that out there. Mm-hmm. As you go, if you're just starting off with your business and everything, you're doing that type of marketing. You're doing the business to business marketing. You're putting yourself out there, and then you can lead people back to your social media. So those people that are on the fence, over time, they continue to see your brand. They've actually met you, so they know that you're a real person. And then when that time is right, guess what? Who are they going to call and ask about signing up for a membership?
They're going to ask you.
They're going to ask you. They're going to see your track record, right? And that's what I like to use for social media. It's like my track record. I keep myself relevant. And a lot of times when people are like, oh, I'm not ready now, this, that. Okay, that's cool. That's perfect. Do you have an Instagram? Or do you have a Facebook? Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, follow my business page. And when you are ready, feel free to give me a call. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We could set something up then. But I've had clients that I talked to maybe like 2 years ago, right? And they weren't ready 2 years ago to sign up and do a class or work out or whatever the case may be. But over that 2-year period, I stayed relevant on their social media from when they first met me. And guess what? They hit me up, and now it's a hot lead. Now I'm able to close that deal, and then now we have somebody else that's joined the program.
And that's so important to talk about because that's the same thing with me. And I have, again, listeners, I only have like 500 followers. And one thing that I learned, and I'm sure you learned it too, is I always thought with social media, I wouldn't get no leads until I was like where you're at.
Yeah.
And what I learned is no, it can be as soon as, I think I got my first paid client from my Instagram, I want to say 6 months after starting.
Yeah.
And what I realize is every lead that I've gotten every lead that I've gotten from my Instagram, none of them even engaged with the with the videos. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, okay, I see the same people, like 20, 30 people for me, my tiny little account. And I'm thinking, okay, at some point they're going to end up being clients. But no, it's always the people who never even engage that just DM me one day and be like, hey, I'm interested. Yeah. Like, so again, that's why I'm so glad you're explaining all this. And we have this duality of you're in one stage that's further ahead and I'm kind of starting. But both of us have landed clients from our campaigns no matter where we're at.
And then, you know what, something else? Some of those people, I've met so many people over the years, right? You know, whether it's in person or through social media. And some people just, they want to support you, Darrin, right? But they might not be ready for one of your financial literacy classes or whatever like that. But if you had like a pamphlet or apparel or something like that, they'd be like, man, I like that guy, Darryl. I like what he's doing. I'm going to support in a different kind of way. And I found that over the years to work as well. Like, don't limit yourself. Like, find different things that complement your business. And I've created apparel for my business, and people have supported me in that way, where they purchase T-shirts and stuff like that for different causes. I've done all different kind of things. And then certain people, like I said, they might not be ready for the training aspect of what I do, but when it comes to maybe our CMOS product, right? We have CMOS. A lot of people I saw across the country hitting me up as soon as I released my CMOS product. They start hitting me up from all across the country, DMing me like, hey, how do I get it? How do I order it? This and that. And I'm like, wow. It was a person that was interested more so in a product that was health and wellness versus the actual fitness component of what I do. And it's like, you gotta just make sure that you cover a lot. You don't necessarily have to start off like that, but as you're growing your business, have different components where people can kind of tap in with you, so you get financial support. And that's why I feel like I've had so much longevity in my business and continuing to, like I told you at the beginning of the show, it's not only me. I have my wife to support. I have my 4 kids. Like, I got to make sure that revenue is coming in so I can take care of all aspects. And what does that look like? And over the years, I've had to look at it and like, okay, let me add this. Let me do this. The fitness is the bread and butter, but let me also have these other components that complement the fitness as well.
Right, man. I'm so impressed with your story and everything. I mean, you're doing so much right now. Fitness, CMOS, holistic health as a whole. You're just doing so much. How do you? This is kind of a dumb question, but I want you to
never a dumb question.
But I want you to. There's a reason why I'm going to ask this question. How are you, as a full-time entrepreneur, able to do this day in and day out when a job, you only have to do it from 9 to 5. You start at 9, you clock out at 5. Like, clearly, just from your story, it sounds like you're working harder and longer than you ever were at the marketing job. So how are you able to maintain this? Like, as it builds and builds and grows and grows, not like it's just you're not even just staying on the same course. Your trajectory just goes up, 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 and a higher tilt. Yeah. How are you able to maintain that?
You do something that you love. You know what I'm saying? This is even one of the things that I ask my clients as we're going through the process of training and just holistic health. It's like, if you aren't worried about money, if money wasn't a thing, right? What would you be doing on your day-to-day life? What do you find enjoyment? And I really find working out, I enjoy that. Like, that's something I really enjoy. And I was like, if we lived in a village setting, I would be the guy in the village that went for the runs. And if you wanted to go for a run, we would all wake up and go for the runs and work out and do that. Who are you in our village, right? And it's so interesting because so many people are doing things that they're not passionate about in life right now. And I get it. You know, we have to take care of our families and stuff like that. But the closer that you get to your passion, whatever that may be for you, the more excitement that you have each and every day. And with that excitement, it doesn't feel like work.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like every time we cross paths in the studio, I can just see and tell the passion that you have about financial literacy.
Absolutely.
Right? You live, breathe financial literacy for the community, and you get excited about talking. I remember I brought my son into the studio one time, and you spoke like 30 minutes to an hour to him on just building his brand and what he could do and all that kind of thing. And that's where your heart is at. And if more of us got to that space of finding that thing, whether you love cooking, baking, working out, clothing brands, whatever it may be for you, doing more of that on a daily basis is going to allow those creative juices to go. And once you have those creative juices going, you just have to continue to feed it and continue to ride that momentum. And it's going to lead you to different things in life, different people, right? And then you're just going to have different access to do certain things. And we just, as a people, we have to understand that going down that path of self-love, self-care, it's not only on the exterior, it's on the inside, interior, right? And if you're not doing something that you're passionate about, that has wear and tear on you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And it's so crazy. I wanted to make that point because even for me, I'm a financial guy, and I have been forever.
There's no question about that.
Forever. So my thought process for a long time was like, oh yeah, this idea of making money that you're passionate about, that's cool and ever, but especially out here in the Bay, especially out here in California, I mean, that don't always turn out to be 120K careers or 150K careers where you can sustain yourself. And I never got it. And it wasn't until, like you said, I jumped into this all the way in, just cannonballed into the pool and start doing what I love to do. I got it. Like I literally, thanks to you, I literally have a job, a stable job through SF Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
And literally, I have no problem saying this, I get paid significantly less than I did at my last job. Yeah. But this is the first job I've told my best friend. I've told all my roommates. I've told my family. This is the first job. I'm 32 years young. It's the first job I truly enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I truly enjoy doing it. And one thing I want the listeners to take away is this. If you can do something for free and you're willing to do it for free constantly.
Yeah.
That is something you can probably do for business.
Oh yeah.
And be passionate about it.
And make a living. You know what I'm saying?
And make a living, because that's exactly what both of us have done and are doing. I mean, literally, I did financial coaching sessions for free for well over a year because I just love to do it. And then it wasn't until someone said, "I'll pay you to do it." I'm like, okay, okay, like cool.
Like, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Okay,
sold.
I can really make money. Oh, Darrin, come speak at this event. Wait, really? Like, I just like talking about it in general.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm so glad you're able to jump on and communicate your story to the listeners out there at Financial State of Minds. And before we wrap this up, my final question to you is: where can my audience, where can the listeners find you? Where can they connect with you?
Yeah, so if you're on IG, it's going to be Cat Fitness 3 on IG on social media. I've gotten our studio manager has gotten me to get a TikTok. So I got a TikTok now, y'all. So if you're the TikTok audience, you can find me at Cat Fitness 3 on TikTok, and then Facebook, Cat Fitness. Right now, we're actually rebuilding the website, and the website is www.catfitnesswellnesscenter.com. We're just kind of fine-tuning it, bringing it to the next level. Like I said, when I first started, it was more so on the strength and conditioning aspects, but now we're going to be focusing more so on the holistic health, the mind, body, and spirit alignment, because we want to make sure that the people that we're working with, this one-stop shop, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us, we all are dealing with different things mentally, physically, and sometimes even spiritually. So having that place where you can kind of just come and have the coaches. I want to make sure we have the coaches to be able to talk about all aspects of life, even the financial literacy aspect. And that's why we added that component to our Heal the Hood event, because we knew that, in our community, we need to be educated on these things, because once we have the information, it's taking that information and implementing it and making sure that we just don't have it, because information is everywhere. Right? You can Google things. We all have, most of us have phones and tablets and computers where we can get information. But how can we take that information and incorporate it on a daily basis so we truly get the value of the information? So that's our goal with that right there.
And there's a certain radio show that you have as well?
We definitely have our radio show that comes on the Anything Can Happen show. You can follow us on social media, on Instagram at the ACH show. You can also follow our YouTube page, which is Heal the Hood. It's a page that has all our content from all our different events, our radio show, free workouts, free cooking lessons, all that kind of stuff. So if you go to YouTube, follow our page at Heal the Hood.
All right, Kat, man, it's been a blessing. I want to thank you so much for all the talks we've had offline, and you.
This is the first of many.
You just be able to jump on my show. I appreciate. I know the listeners out there got some great value out of our conversation. But all right, you guys, we're wrapping this up. This is your boy Bookity Bindy with my boy Kat. You tuned in. Financial State of Mind, where we help you get to the bag, manage that bag, and grow that bag as fast as possible through financial literacy and all things moolah, gouda, keys. And you've been tuned in and tapped into KGPC 96.9 FM. Peace, kings and queens. We is out of here.
Peace.
Money on my mind, so money is all I think of. Money on my mind, 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 money